Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, thank you for being on time, and I apologize. I told you, I think at the beginning of this, maybe yesterday, that we always run into issues at the beginning in the morning, so that's when we handle them immediately. I do want to let you know today I'll give you a little longer break in the middle, probably about 20 minutes or so everybody has time to go to the restroom, get something to drink, something to eat. But we may run a little long today, just simply because we're behind right now. We have some witnesses who will be testifying today that will be leaving to go out of town, and I want to make sure that we get them in so that we don't run into any problems with lengthening the trial. At this time, we are going to go back to where we were yesterday, the State of Ohio versus Raymond Tenzing. Case number B1503961. The state was presenting their case. They were getting ready to, we have another witness, I guess, first thing this morning. Mr. Peter, when you're ready, you may call the witness. Or Mr. Graffenreid, I apologize. I never know who's going.
Shonda Reed.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give before this court and jury to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Sit right here, miss.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Can you please tell us your name, spelling your last name?
Shonda Reed, D-A-S-H-O-N-D-A-R-E-I-D.
Thank you. I'd like to direct your attention to July 19th of 2015. Did you know a gentleman named Samuel DuBose?
Yes.
What was your relationship with Mr. DuBose?
We became engaged July 17th. We had a 16-year on and off relationship.
Okay, and you said July 17th of that year, 2015?
2015, yes.
Okay. Did you have any children with Mr. DuBose?
We had 3 children.
I'd like to show you what's been marked State's Exhibit number 26. If you could look at that and tell me if you recognize it.
Yes.
And can you tell us what is that?
It's a photo with Samuel and his brothers and sisters at his stepfather's funeral in his mother's hallway.
Okay, and do you recall when that funeral, what year?
Maybe 2008.
And can you tell us in that photo, which photo is Mr. DuBose?
The gentleman to the left with the beige and cream striped shirt on.
Okay. And Ms. Reed, on July 19th, did you own a vehicle?
Yes.
Okay, did you own a 1997 Honda Accord?
Yes.
Now, ma'am, on that day, July 19th of 2015, did you believe that you had a valid driver's license?
I did believe that.
Either that day or afterwards, did you learn that your license was actually suspended?
In July of last year, I found out.
July of what year?
2016.
Okay. And, or is it the year that this happened, or?
It was 2016 when I found out my license was suspended. No one ever told me that my license were valid.
Oh, so at the time when this all happened, back in July of 2015, you did not know?
I did not know.
Okay. Do you know what that suspension stemmed from?
A failure to yield citation from Springdale.
Okay. And do you recall when that occurred?
In December of 2014.
Okay. And that ticket resulted, you found out last year that your license was suspended as a result of that?
Correct, because I was told proper protocol was for them to send me notice, but the BMV never sent me notice that my license was suspended. I didn't find out until I got pulled over in July of last year.
Oh, okay. Now, did Mr. DuBose, did he drive that Honda Accord often?
He has driven it, yes.
Okay. And on July 19, 2015, did he have permission to drive the car?
Yes.
Do you know the condition of the car at that time?
The brakes were really bad, and Sam had to keep his feet on the accelerator and the brake at the same time when he was driving it.
Okay. And do you by chance know approximately how many numbers were on, how many miles were on the car at that time?
About 170-something thousand.
Now, did you know what Mr. DuBose's plans were on July 19th?
I did not.
Thank you. Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to enter State's Exhibit number 26 and publish it to the jury.
No objection.
Okay. Thank you. number is that, Mr. Craig?
26.
Okay, thank you.
And just for clarification, Mayor, I'm pointing out this individual, no, that, and that's the shirt you're talking about, that's in Mr. DeVos, Samuel
Yes.
DeVos? Okay, thank you. Now I have no further questions.
Mr. Matthews?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Reed, did I understand you to say that you and Sam were together off and on for 16 years?
Correct.
And you're the mother of 3 of his 13 children, is that
Correct.
right? Where was Sam living on July 19th, 2015?
Springdale,
At what address?
my address, 150 Civil Circle.
150?
You might want to redact that also.
Yeah, we got that.
Okay, he was living with you in Springdale?
Yes.
When was the last time he stayed there before July 19th, 2015?
I saw him last on July
Let me finish
18th.
my question.
Okay.
When was the last time he spent the night at your home in Springdale before July 19th, 2015?
July 18th.
So July 18th going into July 19th?
July 17th going into July 18th.
Okay. Do you know where he was after that?
He has some work to do.
What kind of work did he do?
He has a studio. He does studio where he does a lot of recording.
A lot of recording? Okay. Did he have any kind of other jobs?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right. Before I go any further, have you ever been convicted of a crime involving dishonesty or a false statement?
That's irrelevant to this case.
You have to answer the question, ma'am.
I feel like that's irrelevant to the case.
You're not the attorney and you're not the judge. Ms. Reed, please answer the question.
I have made decisions in my past that were,
Ms. Reed, just answer his question, yes or no.
I've made decisions in my past that were not always the best decisions.
Can I take that as a yes?
I've made decisions in my past.
Judge, would you instruct the witness? Well, I'll ask her a specific question. Ms. Reed, were you convicted in November of last year of falsification and possessing criminal tools?
It was actually October of last year, and like I stated before, I have done things in my past, and unlike your client, I know how to,
Ms. Reed,
own up to
strike
what I've
that.
done.
Strike that statement. Ms. Reed, please just answer the questions that you're asked. Don't editorialize. Go ahead.
There was an incident last year.
Thank you. Now, did you ever know Sam DeBose using the name Christopher Simmons?
No,
You aren't aware of that?
I'm unaware of that.
Okay. Are you aware of him using the address of 112 Clinton Springs?
I'm aware of the apartment.
Was that his apartment?
I'm aware of it. I'm not sure whose apartment it was, but I'm aware of that apartment.
How are you aware of it?
Because I found out in the course of this situation
That he had an apartment?
that there was things over there.
Okay. And then, how about 1999 Sutter Avenue?
Not from, that's his mother's address.
Okay. Do you know whether he? Do you know where this incident occurred? Correct. On
Yes.
Rice Street.
On Arbor,
Do you know whether he had any connection to that neighborhood?
family,
Who would that be?
his cousin.
His cousin, Lad DeBose, and that was on Winkler Street, correct? I'm sorry.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe that's the name.
Okay, because are you aware? You've seen the video of the incident, correct?
Correct.
And when Officer Tenzing asked him, Sam made some comment about he just wanted to go home and go to sleep,
I didn't hear the sleep part.
just wanted to go home. And Officer Tenzing asked him where he stayed at, and he said he stayed right around the corner, correct? Is that a yes?
His family is around the corner.
Okay. Now, Sam was driving I've seen it referred to as a 1998 Honda. You were just asked about a 1997 Honda Accord. It was a Honda Accord somewhere in that year, or one of those years, correct?
Correct.
And you owned that car?
Yes.
How long did you own the car?
Not long before that, maybe about 5 months.
Who paid for it?
Sam did.
But he put it in your name?
Correct.
Is that because he didn't have a valid driver's license?
I'm not sure. All the
Do you know whether
At that time, I wasn't sure of his driver's license status.
Do you know whether he had a driver's license?
Through the course of our relationship, he has had driver's license.
He's had multiple
I just wasn't
suspensions.
sure at that time, and yes, he has had multiple suspensions.
Okay. And you don't know what his status was on July 19th?
Correct.
Did you have another car that you drove?
I did.
What was that?
It was a 2011 Sonata.
Sonata?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Sam primarily drove that Honda Accord, correct?
Like I said, there was times that I took him where he needed to go, but he has driven the Honda Accord.
Did you ever drive it?
Yes.
Okay, after this happened, there were a number of items found by the Cincinnati police in the Accord. Are you aware of that?
I am.
There were 4 cell phones, for instance. Were those yours?
No.
Whose were they?
We're going to assume his because they were in his vehicle.
Okay. There were a couple of traffic citations found in there. Were those his or yours?
They were not mine.
There was a quantity of marijuana found in different places in the car. Was that his?
I'm not sure as to who were in that vehicle that day. Could have been a passenger, I'm not sure.
It wasn't yours, correct?
It wasn't mine.
Did you know that he was selling weed?
Over the course of our relationship, there has been times.
Okay. Now, you testified here in response to one of Mr. Graffenreid's questions that the car wasn't in very good shape. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you said that he had to, or whoever was driving had to keep their foot on the brake?
On the accelerator and the brake at the same time because the brakes were really bad.
I'm not, what was that supposed to accomplish? Just
You would have to ask the mechanic that. I'm not sure, but that's what he had to do.
So one foot would be on the accelerator and one would be on the brake?
Correct.
Okay. Do you know that you had to have your foot on the brake in order to take the car out of park and move it down into drive?
Did I know that you have to do that with most vehicles? Yes.
Yes. And it was an automatic transmission?
Correct.
Also found in the car was a lot of different kinds of medication. Are you aware of that?
No, I wasn't.
So it wouldn't have been your medication,
No.
correct? How was Sam's general health prior to July 19th?
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance.
You have nothing further.
Thank you, Mr. Breckenridge, respond.
No, Your Honor. Thank you, Ms. Reed.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
thank you, Ms. Reed.
Thank you.
Fine.
Am I able to attend the rest of the court proceedings?
Yes, if you have room. I mean, I'm not sure who the family are. That's for the prosecution. I don't know what the,
Did she say she wanted to stay in the courtroom?
I don't know if we have the capacity. That's what I'm,
Judge, I know there's, I think we'd ask for separation, so I'm fine if the defense is fine with her staying here. We're not going to recall her. There are other Sam DeVos family members here. I know we're limited by way of our seats, but if there's room, I would like her to stay.
she's welcome to if we have the space, but I know we limited it based on how many people had to be in here. I've got a capacity of 50 for this room. That's fire code, if anyone was ever wondering what that's about. It's
Yes,
not
ma'am.
because I wouldn't cram it from wall to wall, but we have to follow the fire code. I'll let them take care of it out there, Ms. Reed, and if it's possible, we'll bring you in during the break, okay?
Judge, as long as it's clear that she will not be recalled as a witness. I don't have
As
a
long as,
problem.
okay, I figure, okay. We'll get it worked out there, Ms. Reed. No, you're gonna have to go outside till we can figure out the capacity. I'm not sure what it is today. We have someone that counts that. I'll take care of it as soon as possible. Dave? Okay.
You're ahead of me.
Can we go ahead and swear her, Ms.?
Judge, I think this witness had told me before we came to court that she doesn't want to be photographed. Is that right?
Okay. To counsel, yes, thank you. Counsel, if you could come to the front really quick, I got to put this on the record. You can come up.
Alicia Napier.
Ms. Napier. Okay, no filming. Thank you. All right, when you're ready, go ahead and swear the witness.
And please raise your right hand. You do solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give before this court and jury to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Come swear your name.
Your voice is very soft, so can you pull that to that microphone?
Yes.
Audio will go out, but I've instructed them no filming.
Okay.
Make sure you talk directly.
Okay.
Go.
Good morning. I'm over here. Could you tell everybody your name? Could you spell your first name and your last name for me?
My first name is Alicia. That's Alicia. Napier, Napier.
And without telling us exactly where you work, Ms. Napier, could you tell us your occupation?
I'm a teacher.
And could you tell the jury in your own words what type of things you would do on a day-to-day basis?
I feed kids, change them, basically be like a second mom when their parents are, at work or wherever, taking care of business and stuff.
Would it be like in the daycare business? Is that the business you'd be in?
Yes.
What are the approximate ages of the children that you work with?
I work with ages 6 weeks to like maybe up to a year.
The very, very young kids?
Yeah, they're real young.
And how long have you been with the company that you're with now?
I've been with them for a year and 5 months.
Do you enjoy what you do?
Yes.
I'm going to direct your attention to July 19th of 2015, almost a couple years ago now. The late afternoon, early evening of that day. Do you recall where you were, Ms. Napier?
I was getting my kids situated in my car, and after I got them situated, I sat and got myself, buckled in, ready to take off.
Let me stop you just for a sec. Were you like at or near the corner of Thill and Rice Streets?
Yes.
And is there somebody that lives right on the corner that you know?
Yes.
Who is that?
That's my boyfriend's mom, mother-in-law. I call her my mother-in-law.
Okay. And which house does she live in?
She live on 23 Teal Street.
Is that right on the corner when Phil comes up and it makes a sharp right turn up to Rice Street?
Yes.
And she's the house on that exact corner?
Yes.
Does she have a couple of dogs?
Yeah.
Kind of bark and all that?
Yeah.
Okay. Kind of a nicer garden in the front?
Mm-hmm.
And you had mentioned that you were with your children?
Yes.
And again, I know this is 2 years down the road, but how old are they now, Ms. Napier?
My daughter, she's 5, and my son is 2.
And do you recall approximately how old they would have been back in July of 2015?
My son was like about 6 months, and my daughter was 4.
And had you been staying or living at the corner of Thill and Rice in that residence for a while?
Yeah, I've been there for at least maybe 7 months.
And how did you get to that area that day, Ms. Napier? Did you drive?
Yes, I drive.
Do you remember what kind of car you had back then?
I had an Impala, 2008 Impala.
And where did you park?
I parked somewhere like further up from my mother-in-law's driveway. I'll say probably about a couple feet from her driveway.
And was there a reason that you parked a little further up from her driveway than just right by her driveway?
My boyfriend, like when he gets off of work and stuff, he likes to park behind me, so kind of scoot up a little bit.
So you left a little space between the driveway and the street for him to park?
Yes.
Ms. Napier, I'm going to show you what's been marked State's Exhibit 1B. Do you recognize that? Is that looks like an online map of the area that we just talked about? Yes. Judge, I'd like to admit and display 1B.
Mr. Matthews?
No objection.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
And if just to orient ourselves to that area, and I'll use my pen if you're coming up Phil from Vine Street with Phil run off Vine. We're going down the hill on Vine, like from Clifton down to downtown. Mm-hmm. And you'd make a left on Phil. Is that fair to say? Mm-hmm. Then you'd come up Phil, and then Rice. Phil would dead end into Rice, and Rice comes up this way. Mm-hmm. And then your, I'll call mother-in-law, lived right in this corner house right here. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And to get to the point that you were talking about before I interrupted you, at around 6:30 or so that evening on July 19th, were you leaving that residence?
Yes.
And did you go to your car?
Yes.
And where were your kids located in the car, Ms. Napier?
They were in the back seat.
Could you let the jury know in your own words how they were fastened or put in the seats?
My son was rear facing, and my daughter was in her car seat or her booster chair.
Those are regulations that kids have to do in order to travel safely in a car. Mm-hmm. Your son, you said, was rear facing?
Yes.
And did it take you a little bit to get them situated in the car?
It didn't take me that long. It's just, I'm usually quick, so, I mean, they were fastened and everything.
Ms. Napier, I'm going to have you look at State's Exhibit 25 and ask you if you recognize that. And is that I'm not sure if you know what it is, but if I tell you it's like a screenshot of some type of other photograph that was taken off another video, would that make sense to you? Okay. Judge, I'd ask that be admitted and displayed.
Mr. Matthews?
No objection.
Okay, go ahead.
And we were talking before, Ms. Napier, you were testifying about where your vehicle was parked and so forth. If I were to point to that vehicle right there, would that be where you were parked that day on July 19, 2015?
Yes.
And that's Rice Street as you're going, I think it's like a slight uphill, is that fair to say?
Yes.
And the car that's parked in back of you, was that there when you first came out of your mother-in-law's residence that afternoon?
It wasn't there.
So you got your kids situated, they're both in the proper car seat, and Did you become aware of something unusual behind you or in your area?
I mean, I just thought it was just a regular traffic stop. I thought it was nothing. And then, I mean, until he just turned his lights on. Basically just thought it was nothing. Just a regular traffic stop, that's it.
Did you sit in your car for a period of time, a short period of time after your kids were strapped in?
I was in my car for at least maybe like about 3 to 5 minutes.
And then, did you become aware something was happening behind you then?
Yeah.
Well, what did it look like to you when you noticed that?
Just it's a regular traffic stop.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
Were your, if you recall, Ms. Napier, were your windows up or down?
They were up. It was hot outside, so I had my car on. I had the AC on, so.
Okay. And you said it was a routine traffic stop. Did you notice another car, just a regular civilian car pull in behind you?
Yes.
And was there a police car behind that car then?
Yes.
And did that police car have on its lights?
Yes.
And did that draw your attention to that situation?
Yes.
If you could let the jury know, Ms. Napier, how did you observe or watch that situation as it unfolded?
I mean, it was.
Did you, what I mean to say is, did you turn around either this way or this way? Did you look at it in your mirrors, or how did you look at it?
At first, when he first pulled up or whatever, I was looking up at my rear mirror at first, and then when he got out his car, that's when I was looking at my side mirror, him approaching Sam DuBose's car.
So that you're talking about when you first look back, there was a mirror which kind of mounted in the interior that you would look back, your main kind of mirror inside?
Yes.
And then you switch mirrors then?
Mm-hmm.
To which mirror?
To my driver's side mirror.
Which would have been, if you're the driver, to your left, the
My
mirror
left.
that you would look at traffic behind you to your left?
Yes.
And what was the order in terms of how the cars were situated? Was it your car, what later turned out to be the DuBose car, and then the police car behind that?
Yes.
That was the order?
Yes.
And you mentioned the name Sam DuBose. Did you know any of the people's names before this at all?
No.
Did you know Sam DuBose at all?
No.
Did you know any of his family that's seated here in the courtroom at all?
No.
Did you know Mr. Tensing or any of his family?
No.
Completely independent?
Yeah. Just don't know.
And if you could just describe to the jury, Ms. Napier, in your own words, what you saw unfold as the officer approached the vehicle.
Well, when he approached his car, from what I thought was a regular traffic stop, just turned out to be something different. I thought Ray Tensing had got shot, which caused him to fall back, and then after the shot had happened, that's when I seen DuBose's car sped off, and that's when I had ducked down to the floor, thinking it was like they were gonna shoot at each other or something like that. And like while I was ducked down, I just heard like a whole bunch of like the acceleration of his car just going past my car, and then I thought I heard another gunshot. But after I heard his car go past my car, I had got up and I just seen like the bumper and like smoke like somewhere like further up from my car. And then like I had looked at my side mirror, the driver's side mirror, and I just seen when Ray Tensing and a couple other cops had came and was running with their guns out and running past my car. And after they were further down the street, that's when I had turned my, shift gears into drive, and I just left the scene, and I just went to my destination.
I just want to go over some of what you said in a little more detail.
Yes.
Did you say you saw who you now know to be Ray Tensing?
Yes.
And was that individual dressed in a police uniform?
Yes.
And he's the one that came out of the police car?
Yes.
And where did he go to? Did he go to the side of the, now that you know is the DuBose car?
Yes.
Judge, I'm going to object to the leading at this point.
Yeah, I agree. Sustained.
Where did Tensing go?
Well, he went, like, when he got out of his car, he went to Sam DuBose's driver's side.
Could you know, Ms. Napier, how close Mr. Tensing got to Mr. DuBose's vehicle?
Well, before the shot had happened, I mean, he was kind of like maybe this much close to his car. And when he was, I guess, when I heard that shot, it's like he was reaching for his holster or something. And then
Back up just a sec. When Mr. Tensing said he approached the car, got pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
And could you tell what they were doing at that point, Tensing and DuBose?
I guess they were having like a conversation on what was wrong or something.
Could you
I
hear what was
didn't
being
hear.
said?
No, I had my windows rolled up and my AC was on, so it was impossible for me to pick up what they were saying or anything.
Sure. Did it appear to you from watching it unfold that there was some type of conversation going on?
Yes.
And did it appear to you that the officer was writing something down?
Yeah, I thought he was writing something down.
And then you mentioned something to the jury a moment ago, Ms. Napier, that you saw the Ray Tensing going for his gun. Could you talk about that a little bit for me?
It just seemed like after they were having a conversation or something, I just seen him just Tensing just going quick for his gun, and I thought it was too late, and I thought he got shot because when he was reaching for his gun, he got real close to his car, and then that's when I thought it was too late for Tensing, and I thought Tensing had got shot. And after I heard the shot, Tensing fell back, and then that's when I seen the car in motion, about to go past my car.
Did you ever see initially, at the time of the first shot, Ray Tensing with a gun in his hand at all?
I didn't see. I'm sorry. I didn't see the gun at all.
At that point?
Mm-mm.
Did you ever see Ray Tensing reach into the DuBose vehicle at all?
No.
You saw him appear to be going for a gun?
Yes.
But you never saw that?
I never seen the gun. No.
You heard a shot?
Mm-hmm.
At the time of the shot, had the DuBose car moved at all, Ms. Napier?
Like after the shot, that's when his car moved to the middle of the street and then start going past my car.
Had the DuBose car moved at all prior to the first shot?
No.
Are you certain of that?
Yes. It moved after he shot
So you heard the shot, and that's when you saw the car move for the first time?
Yes.
100% sure?
Yes.
And what happened to the officer then after the shot went off?
After the shot went off, he flew back and was on the ground.
And that's when the car moved?
And that's when the car had moved.
Okay. And what did you think, if you could let the jury know, when you heard that shot, what did you think had happened?
I thought Ray Tensing had got shot, and then I thought Sam DuBose was getting away from what I thought.
And which direction was the DuBose car going then when it moved, Ms. Napier?
It was like I seen the front part of his car going to the middle, and then going, that's when I had ducked my head down when I seen his car go, to the middle of the street, like the front part of his car going to the middle of the street. That's when I ducked down, and then I just heard acceleration. While I was ducked down, I heard acceleration on his car going past my car, and I thought I heard another gunshot, and then that's when I looked up and seen the bumper of Sam DuBose's car on the ground.
You said the DuBose car would have been headed in the direction of the guardrail then? On
Yes.
the left?
Yes.
And tell the jury in your own words, Ms. Napier, what, you mentioned that at that point you saw Mr. Tensing and a couple other officers running past your car or coming up the street.
Yes.
And do you remember or recall if any of them had handguns or weapons in their hands?
Yes.
Did who you learned later to be Mr. Tensing have a handgun in his hand?
Yes.
Is that the first time you would have seen Mr. Tensing with a gun in his hand?
Yes.
And is that when you said you ducked down?
Yes.
Why did you duck down?
I thought it was gonna be like a, sorry, I thought it was gonna maybe like some gunshots going, you know, hit my car or something like that. And I was trying to be on the safe side, and my daughter was, you know, I was trying to be careful with them and make sure they were in their seatbelts and make sure she didn't try to take her seatbelt off or anything. And because she was trying to look, she was trying to look and everything. So yeah, I was trying to be safe.
And if you could relate to the jury again, Ms. Napier, you told them earlier that you thought you heard a second shot.
Yes.
At what point in time did you hear the second, what you thought was shot?
Well, I thought they were shooting and
Was that at the time the vehicle?
it was going past my car.
Okay. And that's what you thought was the officers firing back?
Yes.
You related to the jury then, once the officers ran by you and the car was up there, what did you do?
After they were down the street, I had shift my car and drive, and I just turned my car around and just left the street.
And did you tell anybody, Ms. Napier, what you had seen or witnessed?
I had called my mother-in-law and told her what was going on, basically trying to, you know, make her aware of what had happened. And, you know.
Did you contact the police right away?
I did not. They contacted me later on that evening.
What was your plan as far as why you didn't contact the police right away?
I was scared. Didn't want to be involved. But I knew at some point I had to be involved in some point.
And you said the officers contacted you later that same day?
Yes.
And did you give a tape statement to Cincinnati Police Homicide later that night?
Yes.
Now since then, Ms. Napier, have you seen the video of the body-worn camera video?
Yes.
And how did you watch that?
Well, I was on my phone and watched how everything what really had happened that day. And when I didn't see his gun, he already had his gun out, pointing at Sam DuBose. And when I heard him saying stop, saying stop, stop, and then that's when he fired the gun at Sam DuBose. And that kind of made me so emotional while watching that video.
Judge, I'll object at this point.
And
Ms. Napier, when, let me just ask you a couple questions about, you told the jury a few moments ago that when you first witnessed the incident, you thought that you now know to be Mr. Tensing was writing something down. When you saw that video, did you have a different impression of exactly what he was doing?
yeah, it was he had a gin bottle in his hand. I guess it was some type of, I guess a freshener or something like that.
Okay, but at the time you thought he was writing something down?
Yeah, I thought he was writing.
Now after having seen the YouTube video, you realize it was a bottle that he was messing with up there?
Yes.
And as far as you telling the jury that you thought you heard a second shot, now that you've seen the video, have you revise that now that you saw the video? How,
Yeah.
what you attribute that second loud noise to?
Yeah, he hit the guardrail that time.
And did you see any kind of evidence of that at the scene, Ms. Napier?
The bumper. So his car was on the ground.
Just one moment, Judge. Judge, no further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Matthews.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Napier, how long did this entire incident last in your estimation?
I would say maybe 7 minutes, 7, 8 minutes.
Okay, you're saying, okay, let me get a little more specific here. From the time you saw the Bose pull up with the police car behind him until the time he sped past your car, you're saying that took 7 minutes?
It had to take at least 7 minutes.
At least 7 minutes.
Yes.
Okay. You testified that your car was parked as it's depicted in that picture on the screen, correct?
Yes.
And you had been in your car for 5 minutes, you said, when DeBose and Tenzing pulled in?
Yes.
And you indicated that you had your 6-month-old son and 3-year-old daughter with you, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You have to say yes or no.
Yeah, yes, sorry.
And did you tell the police the night that you gave the statement that your daughter was not yet strapped in?
She was, but then it's like she tried to take her seatbelt off, and I just had to, basically try to make sure she was safe.
Well, when did she take her seatbelt off?
That's when like after the incident, the shot had happened.
Okay, you indicated that your daughter, if I understand correctly, was in a booster seat
Mm-hmm.
in the rear seat on the passenger side, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And your son was
Behind.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, he was behind me and rear facing.
And he was in some kind of
He was in the
child
car seat.
Car seat,
Mhm.
okay. He was strapped in.
Mm-hmm.
And what were you doing while you said you were in the car for 5 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
What were you doing during that time?
I was basically trying to get myself together before I start, because I usually try to just get myself together, make sure I have everything. And then next thing you know, what caught my attention, I was looking out and I just seen lights in the back of my,
You were
on my
looking
rear
out
view.
the rear view mirror in the middle of your windshield. correct?
Yes,
And that aroused your curiosity?
yes.
And how long did you watch in your rear view mirror?
Until Tenzing had got out his car, then that's when I had looked on my side mirror. I'll say I was looking at my rear mirror for maybe 5 seconds, and then by the time he got out his car, that's when I just kind of noticed him walking towards DuBose's car.
Okay, now your windows are up and your air conditioner's on, correct?
Yes.
So you can't hear anything
Can't hear you.
outside?
Mm-mm.
What were your kids doing at that point?
Nothing.
Just sitting there?
Just sitting, waiting.
Okay. So you switch from the middle rear view mirror to the side view mirror? correct?
Yes.
And you're watching this whole thing through that?
Yes.
You saw Ray Tenzing approach Sam DeBose,
Yes.
DeBose's car,
Yes.
and all you can tell is that there was some conversation, correct? How long did that go on?
Maybe 3 minutes, 5 minutes. I don't
3
know.
minutes or 5 minutes?
Yeah, I don't know the exact time. I'm just giving
Could it
a
have been much
guess.
shorter than that?
It could have been, but I'm just giving what I'm thinking. It might be maybe 3 to 5 minutes.
Okay, and you indicated in your initial statement that you saw Ray Tenzing writing something, correct?
Yes.
What did you see there?
I mean, I just thought he had his pad or something and writing something down or something. And
did you ever see the gin bottle? Did you ever see Sam DeBose hand something to Ray out the window?
I didn't see that part. I just seen when Ray was holding, you know, I guess his pad or something in his hand, his writing pad or something.
Okay, now you testified that you watched YouTube videos and filled in some gaps here, correct?
Yeah.
How much did you fill in from the YouTube video?
Basically, like when I was watching it, from what I thought, when I thought DeBose had shot Tenzing shot DeBose.
You learned that from watching the video, correct?
Yeah, and then from what I thought, when he had something in his hand, it was actually a gin bottle. And I thought he was writing something down from when I was in my car. And then I learned it was a gin bottle that he was holding.
Did you ever see the gin bottle on the roof of the Honda?
No, I didn't see it.
Did you ever see Ray Tenzing reach into DeBose's car?
Not when I was in my car, I didn't.
You saw that on the YouTube video?
Yeah, on the YouTube video I saw when he was trying to like, well, when his gun, I mean, I just see when he had his gun and was, you know.
You didn't see the gun when you were looking through your rearview mirror?
No, I didn't see Ray Tenzing with the gun.
Did you see Officer Tenzing ever on the side, attached to the side of the car as it was moving?
No, he was already on the ground when the car was moving. Because after I heard the shot, that's when Ray Tenzing fell to the ground and the car was in motion.
Did you see where he fell to the ground?
Yeah, I saw where he fell. I mean, he fell at the part where, kind of across where he shot DeBose. And then that's when the car was in motion after, you know, the shot was fired.
Well, I don't know. I'm sorry. Did you see, are you familiar with a manhole cover on that street? I don't know if you can see it here, but it's right up around here. There's a manhole cover, maybe right there, slightly behind where your car's parked.
Oh.
Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
Do you know where Ray Tenzing was in relation to that when you saw him fall?
No, because I was watching from my side. I can't really like tell if he fell in front of the old bus stop sign or, I mean, I just saw him fall, like after he, you know, the shot was fired.
Did he fall right next to where Sam DeBose had initially stopped, or did he fall down the road a little far?
It's like he fell where Sam DeBose was. Like he just fell back after the shot, and then like he just fell back after, and he was not.
Is this you seeing this in your rearview mirror, or is this you filling in the gaps of having watched the YouTube video?
No, I was watching from my side view mirror, and seeing when he fell after the shot was fired, and then the car was in motion after.
And you didn't hear squealing tires because your windows were up and air conditioning?
Yeah, I just went to the floor and just heard acceleration going past my car.
You would agree with me that Mr. DeBose had to turn his car to the left to get around you without hitting you, correct?
Yeah, or unless God was in that car and...
Sorry?
I said unless God was in that car.
Okay. And at what point did you said you went down on the floor?
Yes.
In your car? Where did you go exactly?
Well, there's me in my driver's seat, and I just went to the floor, like just kind of, I was still in my chair and seatbelt, everything, and I just kind of went to the floor and just heard acceleration going past my car.
Did you ever try to do something with your kids while you were doing that?
I was trying to before he took off or whatever, I tried to make sure my daughter was, you know, was together and everything, and then that's when I just went down and
That was after you heard the first shot?
Yeah. And then I heard acceleration going past my car.
And while that's going on, you're doing something with your daughter?
Trying to get her down, make sure she's, you know.
How long would you estimate this whole process lasted here, this part?
Judge, I'm not sure what part he's talking about.
I'll clarify that. From the point where you heard the gunshot, is it when you heard the gunshot, is that when you started to worry about your daughter?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how long from the time you heard the gunshot until the tires were, or until the car was accelerating past you? How much time elapsed in there?
Say like 5 seconds, maybe 5, 6 seconds.
Extremely fast, correct?
Yes.
Did you ever see Ray Tenzing moving in any manner with Sam DeBose's car?
No, he was he was on the ground, so there was no there was no way he was attached to the car. He wasn't attached to the car at all.
How did he get on the ground?
I mean, I guess from the power of the gun, maybe threw him back, made him fall, and.
You're totally guessing there, correct?
Yes, yeah.
And your testimony is that he fell on the ground right at the same point where Sam DeBose's
Like right
car
across,
was
yeah.
stopped?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see him get up?
I saw him get up, and I seen 2 other cops with him, with their guns out and running past my car. This was after I heard the acceleration go past my car, after I seen the bumper, Sam DeBose's bumper on the ground, and then that's when I seen Ray Tenzing with 2 other cops running with guns out past my car.
Did you see that with your eyes, or did you see that on
That's
YouTube
with my
video?
eyes. That's with my eyes.
Okay. Pardon me. Then you decided, I'm getting out of here, right?
Yes.
And you were headed off to your parents' house?
Yes.
And when you had to make a U-turn, correct?
Yes.
Did you just do it right there from where you were parked?
Yes.
When you came back down Rice Street, did you notice the gin bottle in the roadway?
I don't remember seeing a gin bottle.
Did you notice Ray Tenzing's flashlight in the roadway?
Yes.
You saw that?
Mm-hmm.
And how did you avoid hitting it?
I went around it. I mean, I know how to drive, but I mean, I went around it.
And you saw it and you went around it?
Yes.
And then you called your mother-in-law and told her what had happened or what you had seen?
Yes. Basically trying to make her aware of what happened.
And then the police contacted you, correct?
Yes.
And asked you to come in and give a statement.
Yes.
And that's what you did.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'll ask you one more time. Are you able to estimate how long from the time you saw Tenzing approach DeBose's car until DeBose's car sped past you? How long did that take?
Maybe 5 minutes.
I have nothing further.
Anything on redress?
Nothing further, Judge, thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Judge, may she be excused?
She may, I just told her so unless either of you need her.
No, Judge.
Thank you so much. Who are we calling?
Judge, I know you told the jury you wanted to give a short.
Not yet.
Just keep going.
Yeah.
It would be Officer
We've only been
Horning.
in here for an
Officer
hour.
Horning.
Okay. If you guys want to stand up, take a quick stretch, watch the hand.
solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give before this court and jury to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Mr. Bradford, whenever you're ready, we can get started. Thank you.
Good morning, officer. Can you please state your first and last name for the record, spelling your last name?
Officer Kimberly Horning, Horning.
All right, and Officer Horning, how are you employed?
The City of Cincinnati Police Department.
Okay, what's your current position?
I'm assigned to the criminalistics unit.
Okay, and as being a criminalist, what's your duties there?
We have several duties. So we respond to all the major crimes in the city, which often include the homicides, the suicides, any death that they believe could have foul play. We also respond to all officer-involved shootings, bank robberies, sexual assaults, any type of crime where they think there might be a crime scene where we could collect physical evidence.
Okay. And how long have you been an officer?
Just about 10 years this month.
Okay, and then how long have you been a criminalist?
The last 3.5.
Okay, so you said you respond to all officer-involved shootings?
That's correct.
And what would be your duties at that crime scene, at those type of crime scenes, I should say?
There's 12 of us in our unit, so when we respond, it could be 4 of us, it could be 6 of us, it kind of depends on the scene. So we divvy up basically our responsibilities. One criminalist typically will photograph the scene, one will do a hand sketch and documentation. Typically 2 of us will run what's called a Leica C10 3D scanner, which takes measurements of the crime scene. And then if there's any other responsibilities as far as sending someone to the hospital to take photographs of a victim or collect officers' clothing, one goes to the hospital, and then an additional officer stays back at our office and waits for the officer to come to our office in order to photograph the officer as they are in their uniform.
Okay. So they bring the officer back to you with the photographs, is that what you're saying?
That's correct.
Okay, all right. Now, you said that you divvy up different jobs. Who determines who gets what responsibilities?
It's kind of playing to your strengths. So myself and about 3 other individuals in our office are really good using this 3-dimensional scanning system. So typically if it's an officer-involved scene that we're going to utilize that technology, I typically will handle the scanning, which will then result in the creation of a diagram from the scans. Otherwise, it's if you're on call or if you're working, we have an on-call system, so whoever's working would respond as well.
Okay. Now, you may have already said this, and I apologize if I'm repeating something that you already answered, but when you respond to the scene, what's the very first thing as a criminalist that you guys do?
We typically walk through the scene, so we are trying to assess what type of needs we're going to be, whether it's an indoor or an outdoor scene, if we're going to need additional manpower there, or figuring out if we're going to need to be dusting for fingerprints or DNA, those type of things. After that, the first thing we actually do is photograph the scene. We're typically trying to go non-intrusive to intrusive, so we don't want to change or touch anything in the scene, leave it as is, so we can document as it is.
Let me turn your attention to July 19th, 2015. Did you have an occasion to process the scene on Rice Street there?
I did.
Okay. And do you know what other criminals responded with you on that day?
It was criminalist Jimmy Pham and criminalist Stephen Alexander that came to the scene with us, or with myself. Criminalist Marty Odom arrived, but then we sent him to the hospital to collect evidence from there.
Okay. And on that day, did you know you were going to run what your role was going to be?
I believe when my supervisor called me, he said that they had an officer-involved shooting and asked me to come in and run the Leica scanner.
Okay, so when you got there, you knew what your responsibility was going to be?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And do you do that right away, or do you do it after the pictures and all the things you've told us about already?
It's usually the last thing we do, and that's simply because as we're searching the area and determining what we find significant to the scene, and putting placards by those items. The scanning would be the very end portion of the crime scene, and typically once we pick up and go, the scene can be released.
I'm going to hand you what's been marked State's Exhibit 1A. You can look at this and tell me if you recognize it.
Yes, this is just an aerial photograph of the area on Vine Street. You can see portions of Phil and Rice Street.
And are you familiar with that area from working for the Cincinnati Police Department?
I am. I worked in District 3 and District 1. District 1 kind of is right there on the border of those streets. And I worked in District 1 for 3 years.
Okay. And so you said that you use the machine to prepare a diagram.
Correct.
I'm going to hand you what's been marked State's Exhibit number 1. If you could look at that and tell me if you knew.
Yes, this is the diagram that I prepared based on the scanning that we do at the scene.
Okay, and can you tell us what type of things go into a diagram?
It's really dependent on the scene. So in this case, this diagram, we basically, to start with, we do the scanning, and I don't think I've explained that very well, but the scanning system is on a tripod, and it basically rotates 360 degrees, and it sends out lasers. And so basically it's taking data points. If you put it in this room, it could take the data points of this entire room. I could then go back to my computer, look at it, turn this room around 360 degrees, and essentially be back in this room and have all the dimensions be accurate to the scene. So when we're creating the diagram, we place the scanner, it can only see what it can see in a line of sight. So at this particular crime scene, it was very long, so we had to place the scanner in 9 different positions in order to capture the entire scene. We looked for, obviously, the officer's vehicle would be important, anything that occurred during the traffic stop, the bottle of gin or the gin bottle that had fallen off was given a placard to designate something of significance. The area in which the vehicle hit the guardrail, all the way up to the vehicle where it came to rest itself. So we basically kind of walk through the scene and see if there's anything that can give us information about what occurred during the incident.
Okay, so you said, just if you could explain a little bit more, so when you put it on a computer after you scanned it, how do you get all the different scans that you took together?
You're basically stitching them together. So you take 2 scans and you find the common points that are in them, and a computer system, a Cyclone system is what we use, and we're able to stitch all 9 scans together so that you are essentially kind of in a virtual world of this Rice Street again.
And then at that point you said you can spin it around and look at it however you need to?
Correct, and it allows us to take measurements that perhaps when we first arrive at the scene, if we didn't know something might be significant, we have all the scan data so we can go back and take measurements from the scan data that are completely accurate.
Okay. So do you personally, so when you do the like of that day, then you go back, you do the stitching, you do the scan, you do the measurements, you do everything that would be involved in that?
That's correct.
And that's what you did in this case?
Yes.
All right, I'd like to enter and publish Exhibit 1.
No,
Okay, thank you. All right, go ahead. Officer, if you could step over here and if you could just walk us through.
Okay, so in the diagram, we started with, at the scene, we gave the officer's vehicle placard number 1. So this is Officer Tensing's vehicle. At the time of when we arrived, we're documenting the scene as it is. So we don't know what has occurred. Didn't know if that vehicle was there during the traffic stop or if it had been moved after the traffic stop. Placard number 2 indicates the Barton gin bottle that had fallen off the vehicle when it moved.
Officer, can I stop you just for 1 second, just so, can you explain, so the number you have, is that down in the key down there?
Yes.
Okay, that'll point out, so each one that you're pointing out, then
Correct.
they can also see that information over in the key too?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry. for
You're
interrupting.
fine. You have placard number 3 is the Officer Tensing's flashlight. You have placard number 4, which is the damage to the guardrail. And subsequently, placard number 5 is the front bumper from that Honda Accord. And then up here, you have the vehicle, the Honda Accord, placard number 6. And then we placed placard number 7 kind of on top of the vehicle, but that's to signify the Hornady .40 caliber Smith & Wesson casing that was found inside the vehicle.
All right, now, is your diagram, is that to scale?
It is.
Okay.
So,
Technology is awesome. Sorry about that. So you're telling us about placard 7.
yes, placard 7 was the shell casing that was found inside the vehicle.
Okay. And you said it is to scale. And can you tell us, so everyone, in case anyone doesn't understand, what does that mean?
So when we're looking at the scans, what I'm able to do is I use a program called Virtual Surveyor, and basically within the scanning system, I pick the points. For example, I would start picking points along the roadway, export it out of the scanning system into a CAD drawing program, and it places all the points back into scale in this diagram. So it allows you to create a diagram that's fully to scale based on the scan data.
Okay. And so it looks like you also put some measurements in there. So can you walk us through how you did that and what those represent?
Sure, the same way that we can take measurements within the scan, just to give us an example of distancing, I wanted to focus on fixed objects inside the scene. Only because, like I said, I don't know what has been moved prior to us arriving. So I gave the distance of this driveway, which you can kind of see through the body camera. That's 13 feet 5 inches is the width of this driveway. And then I basically gave distances and used this would be the northwest corner of the driveway as my point of reference, and did distances to the no parking sign. The no parking sign was something that I could see in the video when I reviewed it, something that I wouldn't think to take measurements of when we were on the scene because it didn't have any significance, but once viewing the video it did. And so that was 22 feet, 4.49 inches from this northwest edge to the no parking sign. Again, went to this, there's a pothole cover that you could see, and that was 27 feet, 2.11 inches. And then I went all the way out to this guardrail, and that was 131 feet, 9.6 inches. And if you're, as the crow flies, wanted to know how far it was from this point to where the vehicle came to rest, that was just shy of 300 feet.
Okay, when you say as a crow flies, what does that really mean?
Just drawing a straight line. Rice Street makes a turn. I can't tell you, the trajectory of this vehicle when it hit the wall, this guardrail, and how it traveled up. So I would be making a guess if I tried to give you some sort of distance of how far the vehicle actually traveled on the road.
Okay, so you're just giving us what you can tell from mark or set things that won't move.
That's correct.
And I think you've already said this several times, but that's as you found the scene.
Correct.
And so if anything was changed or moved, you wouldn't know or be involved in that. This is just what you found there.
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you, officer. You can take your seat. Thank you. I'm going to hand you, officer, what's been marked 2F. I have to look, sorry. 2F, 2J, 2K, 3A, 4A, 20, 2P, oh, I'm sorry, 20, 2P, 2R, 2Q, 2R, 2S, 2T, and 2U. Could you just look it through all of them and then we'll talk about them? All right, officer, are those all photos of items that were at the scene or the scene from that date?
Yes, they were.
And do you recognize them and are they true and actually represent how the scene looked?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Your Honor, I'd like to enter those numbers and post them to the jury. And,
No objection.
and if you don't mind, it'll probably be easier since they don't go in sequential order if you just put them on there and you can tell us what they are. All right, also first I believe we're looking at 2F.
Correct. 2F.
Can you tell us what is that? And just walk us through it.
This is a photograph. You're looking southbound or up the street on Rice Street, and we've placarded number 2 next to the gin bottle, and number 3 is placarded next to Officer Tensing's flashlight.
And so that 2 and 3 would go with your diagram, and you just walk us through. Those would be the 2 and 3 on the diagram?
That's correct.
All right, thank you.
This is 2J, and this again is a close-up picture with placard 2 and a closer photograph of that gin bottle. State's Exhibit 2K, again a close-up of placard number 3 along with Officer Tensing's flashlight. Great, thank you. 3A, State's Exhibit. Typically, when we return back to our office, we take what's called evidence processing photos. It's just another photograph of a more set lighting and conditions where you can see the item better with the scale. So that's just what 3A is.
And so what do you put the measurements there just so you can kind of scale how big or small it is?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
State's Exhibit 4A, another evidence processing photograph, and this is documenting the damage to Officer Tensing's flashlight. This is 2O. Okay, 2O. This is just a photograph of that driveway you're seeing, right about where the traffic stop took place.
All right, can I ask you a question? On your diagram, you took your corner that you used was the corner of this. Is that the driveway that you used?
It would be this corner, yes. This would be the southwest corner, or the northwest. State's Exhibit 2P. This is now looking northbound on Rice Street, where the officer's vehicle is, and this is Phil Street that you're looking at. 2Q, again, another photograph looking the opposite direction, looking back southbound on Rice Street. 2R is part of that guardrail with placard F and the front bumper of the vehicle. 2S is a picture, it's hard to see, but there's placard number 4, which is indicating the damage to the guardrail. These are steel posts that have been bent back. 2T, again, another photograph with those placards next to the number 2 next to the gin bottle, number 3 next to the flashlight, looking southbound. All right, thank you. And then 2U, a different, similar photograph, again, looking at that guardrail with the bumper.
Now, can you do the Leica scan at night? Does it matter if it's night or day? Does that affect it in any way?
Night, day, nope. You can run it either. It's a green laser that can run in pretty much any condition.
Okay. So this started the day, then it turned night, but you guys are still able to finish the scene process as it needs to be.
That's correct.
All right, thank you, officer. Take your seat. Thank you, officer. I have no further questions.
Okay, Mr. Burnett, ready?
Officer Horning, you indicated that, are the measurements on your diagram there taken from the Leica scan, or did you physically measure them?
That's taken from the scanning.
Okay. And in your testimony, you indicated that you watched the video from Ray Tenzing's body camera, if I understood you correctly?
Yes, after we had scanned the entire scene and returned back to our office.
And if I heard you correctly, you indicated that the no parking sign had some significance too.
Yes.
What was that significance?
Not only in just putting the placard evidence on the diagram, we try and include things that would be significant to the case. And so in watching the video camera, when he fell back and rolled over, you could see the no parking sign behind him. So I felt it would be, for demonstrative purposes, important to include that in the diagram.
And that no parking sign was how far from the driveway?
I believe it was 22 or 27. Sorry, I can't read.
22 or 27?
Maybe 22.
22 feet, 4.49 inches, yes.
Okay, and that's from the, what would be the northwest corner of the driveway?
That's correct.
And that would be a line up and straight over to the side?
Correct, yes.
22 some feet.
Right.
And then did you also measure up to the manhole cover?
That's correct.
And how far is that?
27 feet.
Okay, and why did you pick the northwest corner of the part of the driveway as your starting point?
It was probably the easiest fixed point to make measurements from. You could see part of that driveway in the background of the video, and so it was simply a fixed point instead of trying to guess at.
And is it your understanding from watching the video that Sam DeBose's car, when it pulled over and was stopped by Officer Tenzing, was to the north or behind that driveway?
It's difficult to see. I know the video, you're looking through the driver's window and can see portions of both the driveway and that there's a little staircase that's right north of that driveway. You can see that staircase as well. It's hard for me to say exactly where that vehicle was. And so in order to give some sort of calculations on distance, I use the northwest corner.
Okay. You can tell from the video that the DeBose vehicle was not parked beyond or south of that driveway, correct?
Correct.
So the place in the video where you saw Ray Tenzing getting up was approximately how far from the northwest corner of that driveway.
You're referring to when he fell back
Yes,
in seeing, that would have been from that northwest corner of the 22 feet.
thank you. I have nothing further.
Okay, Ms. DeGraffenreid, anything on redirect?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay, Officer Morton, thank you. You're excused. I don't believe you need to stay. Is there any reason she needs to stay today anyway?
No, Judge?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. All right. I think this is a good, if it's okay with council, can we take a 20-minute break here?
That's fine, Judge.
Does that work? Does that work? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a 20-minute break until 10 minutes till 12, so we can get another witness on when you come back. Feel free to get something to drink or something to eat, and as quickly as you can, go to the restroom. We're going to make arrangements so we have more than one restroom for you if we can. And no discussions again, and we'll see you back in just a little while. Thank you.